Hi, my name is Joseph Alai. Welcome to my channel. And today I want to talk about the 3 most common techniques in my life that I use on a regular basis that show me the most profound results. The reason I want to go over this is because I think as far as talking about theory and just conceptualization around manifesting, that's one thing. But to explain to you how and when I, in my daily life, use these 3 techniques, I think it's more important. It can give you a lot of context as far as when to use which different technique. Now, the thing about manifestations is that, or the techniques of manifestations, is that I always use the right tool for the right job. And I think a part of the learning process of manifesting and testing it is to find out which tools we should use for our own self at the right time. So first of all, if you have not done so already, like this video. It does something to the algorithm, makes people who would not be able to see this video to see this video. So do that. Subscribe, hit the bell icon if you want to see more laser focused systematic way and techniques on exactly how to manifest in a very predictable, systematic way. So here, let's just jump right into it then. I was on, so a part of the VIP program that I offer is I have a community and a chat where I talk to people all the time. And what I find is that the questions are a lot different than those that I receive in email or in comments. And I think the reason is because I'm engaging and we're getting into thought processes that we wouldn't normally just be getting into unless we're speaking. A lot of the things that we speak when we're in dialogue or conversation come out that we don't necessarily recognize when we're just writing an email or thinking, because it's much more natural. A lot of things just flow out. And so that's what triggered this, is because I get questions a lot on specifically what I do. How do I do it? How do I manifest? And so I get an opportunity a lot of times to go over in what case do I do what technique. So, and this started with the revision workshop. I was talking about how I used revision in a systematic way, and it cleared up my entire life. It changed everything virtually overnight. But so when it comes to the first technique that I use on a regular basis, it is, I just call it the gospel method or the gospel technique, which is essentially something I discovered by accident. I was writing a list of my ideal partner. This was a while ago, and a couple of years ago, and all of a sudden someone showed up to me, and she basically was, how do I even put this? She basically inadvertently filled in, not even inadvertently, but she, like, it was as if I checked off every single one of those 100 and some odd character traits that I listed in a journal about my ideal partner. So in other words, what I did was I had listed down things, I had written them down, and then they had come true without me thinking about it, without me imagining, without me doing anything at all. I just thought, and it happened. And so from that point forward, I realized, and that's when I started testing this more and more and more, and just writing down little things, not imagining, not feeling, nothing. And so the reason I call it the gospel is because gospel just means good news, but it makes it sound like super mystical, like, whoa, the gospel of Joe. And so that technique itself is one of the fastest, easiest, simplest ways to manifest everything. There's no limit to how you can use the gospel method. Basically what I do, though, just to be very clear, is when something comes up that I want, I will just write it down as if I have it. One statement, one sentence. I receive cups of coffee continuously. I receive a free cup of coffee. An old friend messages me. I get an amazing job opportunity came my way. X, Y, and Z person said X, Y, and Z to me. So it works. All you have to do is just write down in the tense as if you either, like, this is the way specifically, it's either as if you already have received it, past tense, or, right, that, so like I received $1,000, or as if it has happened, it happens now and it continues to happen. So I receive cups of coffee for free continuously. And so writing that down, there's no limits. It doesn't have to be small. It can be huge. I've manifested huge things like this, like being on the radio, just writing one thing down. Like I said, a general person, I manifested that. So that's one of the techniques that I use on the fly. I don't have to do anything. I don't have to think about anything. I just write it down, and then it plants that seed. And then whatever it's going to come, but it always comes. So that's the number one technique, the gospel method. So definitely try that out. Number two, the second method that I use on a regular basis is visualization. So I want to make this very clear with visualization, and I'm going to make a video on this soon to come, but visualization does not only have to be done at night while you're falling asleep. Now, is that ideal? Yes. The ideal time, the level of impression or the degree of impression of an imaginal act or a visualization done at night will be very powerful, very effective. It will impress upon your subconscious mind. However, with that said, I visualize all day long, even if it's for a second at a time, 5 seconds at a time. And again, basically what I'm talking about here are things that kind of crush or demolish what traditional or modern law of attraction talks about, which is that you need to get into this extreme feeling. The feeling must magnify outward, vibration, all this good stuff. It's just not true. It's not true, right? So experience, when you put this to the test, which is what I implore you to do, you will find that these explanations and what is necessary for you to manifest is actually a joke. It's not even true. The limitations which are imposed on us by modern law of attraction is actually really silly. But it bothers me because when I talk to people, it seems as if, and this was my thought process too, that there was just so much more to manifesting than simply writing something down or visualizing for 3 seconds. Now remember, when you're visualizing, be sure to imagine in first person point of view, which means through the lens of your own eyes, and always imagine after the end. But basically when things come up in my life, I generally, if I'm not going to write it down, if I have a few seconds to spare, I will just quickly think real quick, what's the outcome that I want? And whether it's getting something done at work, finding the solution to a problem when I'm coding, a coaching session going well, or the workshop sessions going well, or getting an invitation to hang out with someone, or whatever the case may be, whenever something comes up in my mind, I automatically think of the end result, and then I imagine myself in the end result. So I think of the end result, but then I think from the end result when I'm in visualization mode. A couple seconds is all it can take to plant a seed. I've done it thousands and thousands of times. Like I said, I implore you to test this out so you can prove to yourself how much power you actually have. Now, the third technique that I use on a regular basis is props. So what is a prop? So generally speaking, I will create a piece of information, or I will conjure up something on Photoshop or create a fake document from the point of view of the person, a different person that I need something from. So for instance, I had a video a few months back with my TSA pre-check. Now the TSA pre-check in the United States is basically a document. Well, it's not a document, it's a number which allows you to go through airport security extremely quickly. And you need to have extensive background checks done. It takes weeks to do this. And for me personally, because of my history, I didn't have a chance in hell, essentially. So what I did was I constructed a letter from them congratulating me on my success of getting accepted and getting the number. And in doing so, while I was creating this fake script from them, not even a script, a document from them, I even included a very specific number. I said, from them to me, it said, congratulations, you have been approved for the TSA pre-check. Your number will come in a day or 2 days or something. The number will have the number 74 in it. And thank you so much. So I made it very specific just so I could prove to myself that it worked. Long story short, it absolutely worked. Within 2 days, the exact time that I said that it would come, it came, and it had the number 74 in it. So all the numbers together actually added up to 74. So what what am I saying here? What's the point of this? The point of this is when I read things, generally speaking, if I read things or if I'm looking at something and if I can really catch the mood or feel or imagine properly from first person point of view that I am actually reading this in reality or I am actually there in reality. Another time this worked was when I wanted to go to Denver to go to GopherCon, which is a programming language conference in Denver, Colorado. I pulled up Denver Conference Center on my computer, pulled it up, went on Google Maps, started looking around, and then closed my eyes, imagined I was there. Within a couple hours, my boss had asked me if I wanted to go to Denver to go to GopherCon. Now, I live in San Diego, but within hours, amazing, totally amazing. So props. It's just basically taking something which implies that you already have received what you want. And then imagine that or read it. For me, reading works very well. Words are very powerful. I would highly recommend using words as well, as long as it's after the end and if it's in the proper tense. So these are the three that I use most regularly. I highly recommend you check them out. I will post some links for some of these techniques. They're in one side of the screen. They'll be in one side of the screen. But thank you so much for watching. Definitely subscribe, hit the bell icon, and hit the like button. Thank you so much. I'll see you next time. Bye.